So you're starting your AP English language review and you have no idea where to start. Well, you found the right place because in this video, we're gonna go over 15 must-know AP English language study tips for at-home, multiple choice, as well as the FRQs. By the end of this video, you're gonna have some quick strategies that you can start using today to score that 5. If you find this content helpful, remember to hit that like button below so that this can be shown to more AP English language students that are preparing for the exam. Also, be sure that you subscribe and hit that notification bell so that you can get more study tips that we release in future videos. One more thing before we get started, tell me in the comments below when you're watching this video, and now let's go ahead and get started. Let's kick things off by talking about what you can do at home. The first tip we have for you is to always be reading. Read, and then read some more. Reading has a ton of benefits, like building up your vocabulary, as well as your understanding of different syntaxes and sentence structures. It also challenges you to think about the author's perspective and the motivations behind why something has been written. The more reading you do, the better equipped you'll be for having a ton of resources and literary works to reference in your AP English language essays. Tip 2 is that flashcards are your friend. You need to know all sorts of literary devices as well as rhetorical techniques, so you don't want to be caught scrambling on test day trying to think about that particular definition. Make yourself a set of flashcards that go over the commonly tested literary devices as well as rhetorical techniques. Make sure you also include grammar and punctuation in your flashcards as well. It's important to note that grammar and punctuation plays a big role in the way that an author's prose is presented, aside from the words that the author uses themselves. Tip 3 is to remember to take your homework seriously over the course of the year, especially your summer reading. Oftentimes, AP English language teachers will assign you some summer readings ahead of time, and so it's a good opportunity for you to get a head start in the school year. It's really important that you complete all of your homework over the course of the school year because it'll give you more opportunities to practice analyzing things like the literary devices as well as the rhetorical techniques that authors are using in the works you're studying. Practice makes perfect, so make sure that you're completing all of your assignments throughout the school year. That way you'll be better prepared come test day. Tip 4 is to seek other opportunities for practice. You can do this through an old school review book like a Barron's or a Princeton review book, or you can use an online practice resource like Albert. Albert has tons of practice questions as well as detailed explanations so that you can pinpoint what areas you're struggling in most as you prepare for your AP English language exam. Do a simple Google search as well. There are a ton of other websites that can provide some additional practice resources for you as you get closer and closer to your test date. Tip number 5 when studying at home is to study with your friends. Studying alone can get a little bit monotonous, and so having a group of friends to work through some practice questions or some free responses can be a great way to get some different perspectives in answering the same exact question. It's these different perspectives that then give you an opportunity to see how other students like yourself might have interpreted that same question and to provide you with a broader depth of experience in terms of the different ways that students interpret different phrasings of questions. It's helpful that if you form a study group that you meet regularly, whether that's every other week or every month, just so that you build up that cadence and you commit to the practice that's needed to prepare for the AP English language exam. Now that we've covered 5 tips you can do at home, let's shift gears to talk about 5 strategies that you can take when it comes to tackling the multiple choice section. Before we do so, if you're finding this video helpful, be sure to hit that like button below, as well as that subscribe and notification bell so that you can get notified when we create more helpful videos like these on our channel. The first tip we have for you when it comes to tackling multiple choice questions in AP English language is to make sure that you are practicing multiple choice questions as early as possible. All multiple choice questions will fall into one of these 4 buckets: rhetorical situation, claims and evidence, reasoning and organization, as well as style. If these categories look familiar to you, it's because they're actually the 4 big ideas in the AP course and exam description guide. The second tip when it comes to tackling the multiple choice section is to make sure that you are close reading as much as possible. Staying engaged and actively reading is a key for success when it comes to the multiple choice section. This can mean a few different things depending on the reader. For some readers, it can mean simply annotating the passage with different circles or underlines of key things that are going on as you're reading. For others, it might come in the form of reading a passage more than once. The first time for just key important information, and then the second time for a deeper understanding. Whatever the case may be for you, it's really important that you're actively reading in every single passage. Tip number 3 when it comes to the multiple choice section is to look over the questions before you start reading the passages. Now, this tip will only help some students, so you're going to want to see whether or not it applies to you, but some students find it more helpful if they jump first to the questions that they're going to be asked of from the passage before they then read the actual passage. This way, they can think about the questions they're about to answer once they finish reading ahead of time and forward anticipate the sorts of questions that the test maker is asking of them. Tip 4 is to make sure that you are using the process of elimination, or PO. PO is really important because in most situations when it comes to AP English language, you can eliminate 1 or 2 answer choices right off the bat. So it can be a great way for you to increase your chances of scoring well on your exam by simply getting your odds to be a higher percentile of being correct. So as much as possible, try to narrow down your answer choices to 2 options and then select the one that you believe is more true than the other. By doing so, you'll have a higher chance at scoring those valuable points when it comes to the multiple choice section of the exam. If you can't use process of elimination for a particularly difficult question, then we recommend you simply circle the question, skip it, and then come back to it later after you've finished all the other questions in the section. Tip number 5 when it comes to AP English language multiple choice question tips is to make sure that you put in a guess for every single question. You have to remember that you don't lose points for getting questions wrong in the multiple choice section, so it always makes sense for you to put something down so that you at least have a shot at scoring points for that particular question. All right, those were 5 quick AP multiple choice question tips for English language. Now let's shift gears to talk about the free response section. Before we do so, be sure you hit that like button below and subscribe if you haven't already, just so that you can get notified of the next time we create a study tips video like this. Now, let's go ahead and jump into our FRQ tips. The first tip when it comes to tackling the FRQs is to practice using the archive of previously released exams. This resource can be found on AP Central, which is hosted by the College Board. What you'll find on this site are previously released exam questions that were the actual free response questions that were given to AP English language test takers. It's really important that you go through these questions and you try to answer that question as if you were receiving that same question on your test day. Then from there, review the scoring guidelines and also look through a few of the sample responses that they provide you with, just so that you can understand what the graders are looking for when they are reviewing these essays. The second tip we have for you when it comes to the FRQ section is to make sure that you're timing yourself and that you're pacing well. On test day, you're gonna have 2 hours and 15 minutes to complete the FRQ section, and that includes a 15-minute reading period. So it's really important for you to make sure that you're not spending much more than 40 minutes per essay, just so that every single essay that you're writing has an adequate amount of time for you to develop the thesis and your supporting evidence for supporting your thesis. If you need help with timing yourself and your pacing, we recommend you couple this tip with the prior tip and check out those previously released exam questions so you can practice seeing how long it takes for you to answer one of these FRQ questions. Tip 3 is to make sure that you use the rubric. Understand and master what the reader is looking for from your essay. It's really important that you have a clear and defensible thesis in every single essay you write for AP English language. It's also really important that you include things like specific evidence and commentary that support your thesis. You also need to make sure that you're making a clear and compelling argument. So if you aren't sure about what's on the rubric, be sure to check out the College Board's breakdown of the rubric for the free response section, because it's really important that you're thinking in the back of your head, oh, this is a point for XYZ, this is a point for ABC, and so on as you are writing your essay for AP English language. Tip 4 is to make sure that you're paying attention to the task verbs that are given to you in the FRQ prompt. These task verbs help you give direction as to what you need to address in your AP English language essay. They'll ask you to do things like analyze or argue your position. They might also ask you to do things like read, synthesize, or write. You can find a more complete breakdown of the most commonly used task verbs in the link in the video description below. Be sure that you check this out and that you understand what each of these task verbs is asking you for the AP English language FRQ section. Tip number 5, it really comes full circle, and that is to remember your rhetorical devices and techniques. We went over this at the very beginning, and it's really important that we emphasize this one more time here for the FRQ section. You don't necessarily need to always call out these techniques or name the devices by name, but what you do need to know is what the purpose of this rhetorical device or technique is on the actual passage itself. If you can recall the rhetorical device, by all means include that just to be safe, but if you can't, focus on helping your reader understand that you do actually get what the rhetorical device or technique is that's being used in this situation. There you have it, 15 must-know AP English language review tips. If you found this video helpful, be sure you hit that like button as well as that subscribe button and that notification bell. That way you'll get notified of our new study videos that we'll create over the course of the school year. Also, if you haven't already checked us out, we're Albert and we provide hundreds of practice questions as well as detailed explanations that you can use for your AP English language prep. To get started, all you need to do is check out our site in the link in the video description below. If you're a teacher watching this video, we also provide free pilots that you're able to use with your school, so feel free to try us out for 30 days and see for yourself what we can do for you and your classroom. That's it for this time though. If you know somebody that you think might benefit from seeing this video, be sure to share this with them and also comment below what your best AP English language study tip is. We'd love to hear from you. Other than that, we'll see you guys next time.